Welcome to the deep dive. So, you've sent us some fascinating material on this idea of algorithmic intelligence.
Yeah, and specifically about an application called Laze Q. Looks interesting.
Exactly. Our mission today is really to, cut through the noise, understand what it all means. We want to give you the key insights without getting totally bogged down in jargon.
Right. And based on the sources, algorithmic intelligence, think of it like sifting through just massive amounts of information incredibly fast.
Faster than humans could.
Way faster. And finding these hidden connections, these patterns that even a really skilled human analyst might just miss. That seems to be the core power here.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit more. Algorithmic intelligence.
Yeah.
Sources say these systems process just incredible amounts of data in real time.
Vast quantities.
And they identify subtle patterns, rules, maybe trends that we likely wouldn't see on our own.
And then this is crucial. It uses those discoveries to actually guide decisions.
It's almost like having this, superpowered brain just focused on finding those tiny signals in all the chaos.
Yeah, and the impact, especially in finance, seems pretty significant already. We're talking quantitative finance.
Right, trying to forecast market movements, analyzing historical data, minute-by-minute changes, everything.
Exactly. And also for intelligent risk mitigation, evaluating complex risks at a scale and speed that's just, it's impossible for humans.
And automated trading? Executing trades in milliseconds based on those patterns.
Speed and scale, they seem absolutely fundamental here.
Which brings us nicely to Laze Q. Its position is sort of the next step, right? Algorithmic intelligence specifically for investing.
Yeah, the promise seems to be about smarter investing, more transparency, maybe better outcomes.
And it's going after a really common problem, isn't it? The fact that lots of investors, maybe most, struggle.
Right. They lose money because of bad timing, picking the wrong things, emotion getting in the way.
Or just being completely overwhelmed by all the information. Information overload is definitely real.
Precisely. So I think the goal for us today is to get under the hood of this algorithmic intelligence stuff.
Yeah.
And see exactly how Laze Q is using it. What are the core ideas? What makes it different, potentially?
Okay, good plan. Let's really dig deeper then. Deconstructing algorithmic intelligence. We've touched on it, but I want to zero in on that phrase from the sources. Hidden patterns, rules, and trends beyond human grasp.
It's that scale thing again. Imagine a computer analyzing more data in like a minute than a whole team could manage in a year.
And spotting connections we just wouldn't see.
Exactly. And an algorithm, at its heart, it's just a set of instructions, right? Like a recipe for solving a problem.
The very detailed recipe.
A very detailed one. But algorithmic intelligence goes further. It builds these complex prediction models. It's constantly analyzing data, looking for ways to guess what's next, assess danger.
And do it super fast.
Incredibly fast. The examples make it clearer. Algorithms sifting through years of stock data to maybe anticipate the next move.
Or doing complex calculations in seconds, assessing tons of risk factors all at once.
And then, executing trades almost instantly based on what they find.
So the goal is transforming all that raw, overwhelming data into something useful, actionable insights.
Exactly. Through a systematic process, grounded in math. It's meant to be objective, take the guesswork out, in theory.
Okay, that lays the groundwork. Now, Laze Q. How does it apply these ideas? They introduced this term quant intelligence QI. What's that about?
Well, what's interesting is that QI is presented as more than just algorithms crunching data.
Okay.
It's described as blending that math and stats analysis with domain expertise, real human knowledge.
So combining the number power with actual investor wisdom.
Kind of, yeah. Plus an algorithmic discovery engine. So it's not just processing, it's interpreting results, using feedback, getting human input into the loop.
That human element sounds key, and that leads to their other concept, Symbiotic Quant Intelligence, SQI. Sounds like an even closer partnership.
It does. SQI is basically Laze Q's main framework. It's about tightly integrating that human expertise, the insights from experienced analysts with the quant intelligence and those discovery engines.
So they work together.
Yeah, the idea is coevolution. Human insight and machine discovery constantly interacting, feeding off each other, making each other better.
Okay, so how does that actually work in practice? Let's break down the components. They talk about symbiotic learning, a fast, expert-in-the-loop cycle.
Exactly. It's like a continuous improvement loop. First, the human experts step in. They use their knowledge to pick the data, define what's important, set some initial rules or constraints.
Okay, setting the stage.
Then the algorithms take over. They optimize models based on that input, search for new patterns in the data.
Find things the humans might not have thought of.
Potentially. Then the results performance, new insights get fed back to the experts.
The feedback loop.
Right. So the experts can refine things, adjust the constraints, maybe point the algorithms in a new direction for the next round.
So it's this constant back and forth. Human expertise directs, machine analyses, human refines based on results. Sounds adaptive.
Very adaptive.
Yeah.
Which leads to the algorithmic discovery engine. This is where the actual strategies get developed and improved. It's described as fusing algorithmic intelligence with reinforcement learning.
Reinforcement learning. Isn't that like teaching an AI through trial and error? Rewards and penalties. Like training a dog, sort of.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. So the engine generates and tests different algorithmic structures, trading rules, analysis methods.
Trying things out.
Exactly. It learns by seeing how those strategies perform against market data, real or simulated, trying to maximize the rewards, which are profitable trades.
And it keeps learning.
Continuously. It adapts based on expert feedback and new data, retraining itself, so it's always trying to discover better strategy.
Wow, like an AI research team constantly working to improve your investing approach, guided by humans. Powerful stuff.
It seems so. Now, another big piece Laze Q emphasizes is explainable AI, XAI.
Right. Because often these algorithms feel like black boxes, don't they?
Yeah.
You get an answer, but no idea why. Transparency sounds crucial.
It really is. Laze Q says they're committed to this, using XAI techniques so you're not just getting a recommendation blindly.
They want to show the why.
Exactly. They mention things like SHAP values, ways to show how different factors contributed to a model's output, and using models that are easier to interpret in the first place.
So you can actually see the logic, or at least get a sense of it.
That's the goal. Like seeing the ingredients list for a complex recipe, understanding how each part adds to the final taste. It could definitely build trust.
Yeah, I can see that. Less scary than just handing everything over to a machine you don't understand.
Precisely. It bridges that gap between the algorithm's power and our human need for understanding and confidence.
Okay, so let's put it all together. What's the core value proposition for Laze Q? What problems is it trying to fix for investors?
Well, like we said at the start, it's tackling those common headaches. Bad timing, wrong choices, emotional decisions, information overload.
The big ones.
Yeah. And Laze Q aims to solve these by offering a few key things. It augments expertise, blending human and machine smarts. It ensures transparency with that XAI stuff.
Right.
And ultimately, it aims to deliver performance by constantly finding and improving strategies that focus on both returns alpha and managing risk.
The sources even have that catchy phrase. Liberated, algorithm-driven, zero stress, effortless investing. Quite a claim.
It is. And they offer a case study to back it up. They talk about their QI machine learning model apparently getting positive returns.
Scaring a downturn.
Yeah, over 40% positive, they say, when a simple buy and hold strategy for a big stock like AMD lost around 40%.
Wow, that's a stark contrast.
It is. They mention metrics, too, like the TSSR ratio and profit factor, which are ways to measure risk-adjusted returns and profitability. The suggestion is their approach didn't just avoid losses, but made money in a tough market.
That really highlights the potential difference between an adaptive, unemotional strategy and, well, just holding on and hoping.
And that seems central to Laze Q's message. Bridging traditional investing human judgment, fundamental analysis with this algorithmic quant intelligence world.
Non-directional adaptive strategies.
Meaning they're not just betting on the market going up, they're trying to find opportunities, whatever the trend. And crucially, removing emotion from the execution, letting the algorithms follow the plan without fear or greed messing things up.
Interesting. Okay, and briefly, the sources mention some classic investment philosophies, quotes from legends like Buffett, Graham. How do those fit in?
It's insightful, actually, seeing how these timeless ideas connect to the tech. Warren Buffett's never lose money rule fits right in with Laze Q's focus on risk management.
Makes sense.
Benjamin Graham emphasizing risk management as the foundation. Same thing, echoed in their pursuit of risk-adjusted returns. Grinnell and Kahn saying alpha is tough but possible. That speaks to the continuous effort to find winning strategies through analysis. Darwin on adapting to change resonates with their adaptive models.
And Howard Marks on psychological errors.
Directly supports using algorithms to avoid those emotional biases in trading.
So it's not just throwing tech at the problem. It's using tech to apply these fundamental principles more systematically, maybe more reliably.
That seems to be the idea. Leveraging computation to execute those enduring principles without the human frailties that often get in the way.
Okay, great. So let's wrap this up. Key insights from this deep dive into algorithmic intelligence and Laze Q.
Well, I think we've seen algorithmic intelligence is fundamentally about using data and algorithms to find patterns and make decisions, often faster and handling more complexity than humans can.
Especially in finance forecasting, risk, automated trading.
Right, and Laze Q applies this through its quant intelligence and symbiotic learning concepts. It's really about that close collaboration between human expertise and machine power.
Aiming for smarter, more transparent investing, focusing on risk-adjusted returns.
Exactly. And their core promise seems to be about delivering peace of mind investing.
Through that blend of augmented expertise, the transparency from XAI, and the continuous strategy improvement.
That's right. Combining human insight with machine learning's analytical power, making the reasoning understandable. They're aiming for a more resilient, maybe more reassuring investment experience.
Okay. So, with tools like these becoming more available, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. How might the role of the individual human investor change in the years ahead? Is the future one where we primarily guide the machines? Or could it eventually be the other way around? Definitely some food for thought there. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.